Nathan Clairbo is a transfer from Ferris State. That's Division II, folks. He's playing against a Big East squad today, an angry Big East squad coming off a loss. There is Chase Ross, who has stepped up his game, averaged only 10 last year, nearly 20 a game this year for the Golden Eagles. Central Michigan, Marquette is next, and a little bit later, you're looking at the Mohegan Sun. Hit me! Hit me! No, not that game. That's Harvard BU. A little bit later, we got Providence and Penn State, an important game for the Big East Conference. College basketball is back, baby. TNT Sports College Basketball pregame presented by Vanta Pharmaceuticals alongside Greg Anthony, Dennis Scott, Dallin Cuff. I'm your host, Tim Doyle. We got two Big East Blue Bloods. We got Marquette, Providence. Marquette at home against Central Michigan. Providence and Penn State's a neutral site game. The Big East needs all the wins they could get. You were just in Milwaukee. You just saw Marquette. Tough loss to Dayton. I think they just had another turnover. They had 20 turnovers in that game. When you flew out of Milwaukee, I know it was cold. What was your biggest takeaway from Marquette?
That's what I was going to say. Damn, it's cold. but after that, listen, Marquette defensively is terrific. The problem right now is their offense is their worst enemy. And listen, part of it is they're missing their point guard. Nigel James is going to be a good player, but he's a true freshman, and he's not yet ready. The experience is not there. And that's been their biggest issue. They just can't run good enough offense to allow a great defense to really impose its will on the game. Even in that game they lost in overtime, they forced 25 turnovers. But the bottom line is the perfect way to describe Marquette. Tie game, end of regulation. They have the ball with 17 seconds. They didn't get a shot off. And that's kind of been the issue for Shaka Smart and this group. And I think a lot of that goes away when they get the point guard back, because now everybody goes back to a position of comfort. You never want to ask guys to do things they aren't comfortable doing. And right now, because they've got a hole in that roster, that's what Shaka Smart's got to do. They've got to weather the storm, let the freshmen continue to get some maturity, and I think they're going to be fine.
And with that maturity, we're talking about culture. And that's one thing we know about Shaka Smart. Defensively, you know you can plug and play and put guys in the right spot, and you can play good team defense. But you hit it on the head as a point guard. When you're missing your point guard, how do you get good offense down the stretch? Because he's the one, like in quarterback of the football, putting the ball in the right places. Can Marquette do that, hold down the fort till they get whole? Because to your point, Jay, you're not going to beat too many basketball teams if you can't score down the stretch.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. And that last possession was indicative of some problems of not having a point guard in Sean Jones. But he's not just a point guard. He is by far their leader. He is the guy that's their heart and soul of this team that's now been ripped out of it. And you have a lot of young players playing, trying to step up into that void. What this team needs to do, we didn't see it against Maryland. We didn't see it against Dayton. The beginning of games, come in, focus, and execute on the defensive side of the ball, take away your best things the opponents do, and then step forward into the offensive side of the ball and share the ball in offense. That thing gets stuck a lot with their team right now, which is part of their problem. Part of their problem offense is contributing to some of their challenges on the defensive side of the ball. They have to be more sound. And for this game, this is a get-right game. And this is just about them. 40
chicken
minutes.
Noodle soup.
Can they go?
Chicken noodle soup.
There you go. Let it go. Make it feel good. Make it feel. Sorry, Chippewa. Make it feel good.
Yeah. Well, today, Marquette is 24.5-point favorites. So massive favorites in that game. Supposed to take care of business. But this was, coming into this year, guys, the fourth straight season that they did not add a transfer, which, Dan, I know you got your own comments on that. Save that for a little bit after. Shaka Smart after the loss to Dayton.
You know, we've had in the last couple of years 6 guys exit our program that, before you even talk about them as basketball players, who they were in terms of teammates and leaders, culture builders, we're responding to that. So yeah, absolutely, we could have recruited someone that was older, may have had more experience. Listen, I've been doing this a long time. Criticism comes with the territory, but again, I think if you look at the way that our process has gone in the time we've been here, I guess you can still criticize us now, but I think it's been pretty good.
Hey, Shaka's doing it different than everybody else. Well, I guess he's doing it how we all grew up playing, right? He's trying to grow them from freshman all the way through. They lost Cam Jones, they lose Stevie Mitchell, David Joplin, and now maybe going through some of those growing pains. What do you think of his philosophy now as far as recruiting?
I respect his approach and the culture, as you mentioned, 3D, that he's wanted to and has built there. In every program he's had a certain culture. That said, and to be dogmatic about it, I don't fully understand. When you look at Tyler Kolek, he was the best player in the last 5 years. He's a transfer from George Mason. Omex Prosper, he was a transfer in Shaka's first year. Those guys are both in the league. Like, that's the thing, when you can still look elsewhere and be very selective. You can have your culture, you can focus on the freshmen, and you can look at recruiting in the transfer portal. Let me get a freshman or sophomore, so I'll have him for a couple of years, so he fits with what we want to do, and find guys that maybe can plug a hole for you. And you need to find that. I think being dogmatic about it, saying we are not going to do this and be branded that way, we've seen it with Dabo Swinney and Clemson football. It has not been successful. Here, I think it's the same thing. You can look to augment slightly and still maintain complete culture and still really grow your guys.
You have to figure out in today's climate of college basketball, how do I recruit young and how do I recruit old? And then when you bring those guys in, GA, is how do you get the chemistry to click overnight? That's the toughest part about college basketball. You're bringing so many guys together, and you're saying, this is my system, this is my culture. Now, for you coaches out there, don't be stubborn and bring in the wrong guys that don't fit your culture. And I see that a lot now in college basketball, GA.
No, listen, I understand what both of you are saying. I don't know what dogmatic means, but I will say
I gotta be on brand, GA.
I'm just saying.
You guys are way better players. I gotta use big words. Sorry.
I did go to the Ivy League of the Desert. But having said that, and in all fairness, let's slow down. The man has been to 4 straight NCAA.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of coaches that can say that.
Correct.
His point guard, his leader, has been injured.
Right.
And if Sean Jones were playing, I think they're fine. We're talking about 2 games, one in which they forced 25 turnovers, have the ball at the end of regulation with 17 seconds and don't get a shot off. So that tells you that they've got issues in terms of their offense. Once they get Jones back, I think it puts everybody in a position of comfort. I think they're going to be fine. Look, the Big East is going to be a little down. UConn, St. John's for sure are going to be at the top.
Right.
I think they're going to have a great chance, having seen them up close, to be a top 3-4 team. And typically in the Big East, that gets you in the tournament. So I'm not worried about them. They got a nice freshman class. They got 3 4-star kids. And typically those are the kids that are going to be in your program for 2 or 3 years. So they've got to weather the storm. They got some get right today, right? They get a little chicken noodle soup. Get that coal out your system. They're going to feel a lot better after the day. And then you start building for the future. I think Marquette and Shaka Smart are going to be fine.
I have a quick fanboy question here. Larry Johnson was a pretty good player.
Yeah.
When he came to UNLV, how long did it take him to fit in?
He was already fit. He fat in before he got there. He was good before he got there. We all, once he stepped on campus, we knew he was the man.
You knew right away.
Right away. But he was going to be the first pick in the draft. He would have been the first pick in the draft his junior year. And so that's a different level of talent. And our program was built on transfers.
How about Kenny Anderson?
Well, he's in the class. He's in a rare class where an 18-year-old has taken the team all the way to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
So you knew right away this is going to be.
As soon as he came in there, first day, here's the ball. He had the keys to the car. Coming down court, I go back door. I ain't think he see me. Boom, the ball came back. Yo, D, I see you. Never happened again.
Yo, kid. Yo, D, I see you.
We're talking about a junior college guy, right? And Kenny Anderson was a freshman.
Yeah.
And they were able to obviously figure it out and great runs.
You can win anyway. You can play fast, play slow, play with transfers, build your own. You can win no matter what philosophy you implement. You can. It doesn't matter.
Right?
Yeah. Just because somebody's doing it one way doesn't mean
guards
you
with
can.
transfers from mid-major programs to high-major programs.
What did Florida just do? Florida had a few young guys and transfer guards.
Okay.
And they bought into a system and played the right way.
How many? Okay, Central Michigan got 15 new guys.
Yes.
Well, problem is half of those guys are D2 transfers. So you mentioned great. Those guys can play.
They're buying in. They're buying in. That's the whole thing.
They biting in.
Let's hear from Shaka Smart. He's with Lauren Jabara before the game. Shaka.
Thanks so much, Coach. I know it's a quick turnaround from that Dayton overtime loss. What do you need to see from your team in response, and what kind of identity do you want to see here in the first 10 minutes of the game?
Just passion for each other, supporting each other, going after it. We're always at our best when we're pouring into each other, giving energy, flying around. Central Michigan's a team where their guys are very defined what they do, so we've got to take away the best thing that each guy does.
Nigel James Jr., I mean, I know the kid's a freshman. We saw flashes of incredible play in that Dayton game, and then also flashes of, you could still tell he's a freshman sometimes. How do you balance that between teaching and also wanting that consistency at your guard position?
It's going to come. He's going to be a terrific player here. When you're dealing with freshman guards, you have to live with some mistakes, but also try to teach and learn through those mistakes. I think he's getting better and better. The thing about it is he's a very willing learner, and he's a competitor. So if he can continue to be those things, he's going to be just fine.
I know you always preach defense. You see your team play such hard defense game in, game out. Offensively, the last game, 38%. What do you want to see in terms of your offense to penetrate the Central Michigan defensive line?
No half shots. If you're going to shoot it, shoot it. We've seen more zone than anyone. We'll probably see more today. And you said it. We've got to get in between the layers of the zone, not just around the outside of the zone. And then once we puncture the zone, there'll be opportunities to cut, get to the basket, get on the offensive glass. So that's a big key today.
Shaka, appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, Shaka's looking for, what'd you guys call it? Barbecue chicken? Chicken noodle soup?
Yeah.
Chicken noodle soup.
Chicken noodle soup?
That's different.
Yeah.
You're trying
Okay.
to feel better as chicken.
Barbecue chicken when you roll it already.
Yeah, when you cooking
and
somebody.
you just gonna get some more to eat.
Yeah,
But
you
chicken
go.
noodle
That's
soup
it.
is when you need to get healthy.
I understood. So
There
now
you go.
Central
You got
Michigan
chicken
comes
there.
Get
to
your
town.
analogy straight, Doyle. Let's go. buddy. Let's go.
Got it. Central Michigan is the only school in the MAC that has not played a freshman this entire season. Why is that important? Well, Marquette right now is #1 in the Big East in freshman minutes.
Yeah.
And Nigel James went to Lehigh, and now he's been thrust the ball. What'd you see from him when you saw him live?
Listen, I love the kid. He is the ultimate competitor. That nobody plays harder. But what they need to do is to learn how to play together. They do what my coach used to call self-willing. It's not that they're selfish. They're trying to do it themselves. And what you've got to be able to do, and what Marquette struggled with in the game I watched, you've got to be able to throw a pass that creates an advantage. They don't do a good job of that. And what that is when I drive and force two on me, the next pass I throw sets the tone for the possession because it forces the defense into rotation. They did not do a good job of putting Dayton in rotation defensively, and that's why their shot quality was really low. I'm sure Shaka and his staff spent a lot of time watching game film. There were several possessions where he just went one-on-one, trying to beat tough defense, as opposed to driving, kicking, creating an advantage, and then letting the ball determine who gets the shot. And that's something that they can learn from. He's a young player, and he's a really good player. He comes from a great high school program, so he knows how to play. But sometimes, and we've all been there, when you're a young player, you want to prove how good you are.
Yeah.
And sometimes what you need to do is help your team win games.
He needs a class. Professor there, point guard.
Well,
Professor
absolutely.
point
That would
guard,
work.
yeah.
We talked about this off air a bit, but getting it to the second and third side, getting that ball moved back and forth will help. A lot of times they are forcing bad positions. And that first opportunity, that first sliver, you're getting over-penetrating, you're not making the right pass, and they're taking a lot of bad shots. That's why they're shooting 31% from the three-point line. But part of why this is a get-right game, as you mentioned, there are a lot of freshmen playing here.
Right.
From D1 experience, though, the Chippewas are the bottom 5 in the nation and guys that have logged Division I minutes. This is a different level for them. So that's why I'm interested in Marquette's approach to this game from the start. And are they sharing the ball and worried about playing the right way on both sides of the ball for 40 minutes?
That's the key phrase for me. Young guys, play the right way and keep it simple. Advance the ball, box out, do the little things. That's how you gain confidence from your coach.
The last time Marquette lost 3 straight games, all the non-conference opponents, was 90-91. Stevie B, LL Cool J.
I was in college.
They were up on there.
DZ was in college.
That was a long time ago.
Hey,
I don't think they're going to lose this
That's
game.
a good chicken McNugget right there.
no doubt.
That's a good nugget.
I had to throw a little Stevie B on with the wife.
That was
lately.
real rap. That's mumble rap.